Eritrea is not for sale. Eritrea is not for sale, not for Iran, not for Israel, not for the United States, for nobody. We don't need weapons from Iran. We have enough, we have more than we need. We can arm 3-4 governments. We don't need weapons from Iran.
You have a relationship with both Iran, though you say there's no Iranian presence, as well as Israel. How do you balance?
How can you
so do you say you have no relationship with Iran?
Not at all. Do you think, how can you possibly logically understand this contradictory
That's why I'm asking you.
Why would you ask? Why would you ask without evidences? It's a surprise to me. It's even a joke to me. I don't really see any logic of bringing Israel and Iran together working in Eritrea. How can possibly one sensible person understand that logic? This is a fantasy in the minds of those who want to sell this idea and create a sense of threat and fear in this region so that they can manipulate it for their own agendas.
Is this also a fabrication? The United Nations said that you spend $200,000 to $500,000 a month supporting fighters.
Where?
In Somalia.
When jokes are repeated again and again, it becomes so boring.
Every single question I've put to you is backed up with a lot of research and a lot of facts. So with respect, Mr. President, I'm just trying to find out how your country operates, because I find it a fascinating country. So please, as a journalist...
It's a good exercise for a journalist to ask questions about a number of things, but to come up with a pack of lies, a pack of fabrications, and try to prove them by putting them as very innocent questions and trying to give credibility or trying to discredit your sources. When we have enough food, why do we need someone to feed us?
Because 2/3 of your population are starving.
Why do people want to spoon feed us when we have enough food?
Al-Shabaab members, the African Union and the United Nations are therefore all lying?
We believe Al-Shabaab are Somalis in the first place, whether they are radicals, moderates, whether they're part of the Islamic course or not. We believe every Somali should be involved in an inclusive political process.
But why would the United Nations and the African Union say that this is what you are doing, that
Where
you support?
Are these evidences in the first place? What are they saying? That's where I come to say this is a mockery of justice.
You talk about religion. A lot of people raise your support with Al-Shabaab, you being a Christian leader, that being a Muslim organization.
It's nonsensical.
And it's not to fight the proxy war against...
This is a joke.
Ethiopia?
This is a joke. I don't want to blame anyone for what has been said here or there. What are the evidences? How can you explain the fact that Eritrea supports this or that radical Islamist?
Are you using Somalia as a battleground to fight Ethiopia?
It's not a battleground with Ethiopia. This border issue was a senseless conflict instigated by the United States in the first place, for the record. And we went to arbitration, and arbitration was done almost 8 years now, 2002, and the decision was taken, and that decision is blocked by the United States. It's not blocked by Ethiopia. Ethiopia does not have the resource and the means to block any decision of arbitration and implementation. So it's a cover-up for the failure of the misguided policies of the United States in the Horn of Africa for the last 20 years.
So would you, if Ethiopia were to withdraw from Badme, that's the border town that you are referring to, if they had to withdraw from that, would you then take this country off the war footing?
It's not a problem with Ethiopia. We've never had any problems with Ethiopia. We worked with these people for almost 2 decades to remove a government in Ethiopia. And we wanted to see a relationship between Eritrea and Ethiopia based on mutual respect and commonality of interest, and we worked for decades for that. And now we're talking about a misguided policy of the United States that wants to create crisis here, political problems here and there, and micromanage those problems.
Okay, you say that that's your relationship with Ethiopia. Please explain to me what your relationship is with Sudan. You have alleged links to GEM as well as the SLA.
That is again a distortion of history. It's a deliberate distortion of facts.
The Sudanese government says that it stopped GEM fighters from coming into your country, that you've got camps within.
No Sudanese government or official has said that, because they can't prove that. And it's said in the name of Sudanese officials and to the Sudanese government, this is a deliberate distortion of facts.
Who then was responsible for pulling GEM out of the peace talks with the government?
Not at all. No, never. That never happened. In Abuja, when negotiations were underway, we said this is not a solution. There has to be an inclusive and comprehensive political process in the Sudan to address the issues of Southern Sudan, Eastern Sudan, Central Sudan, Northern Sudan, and Darfur. We've never entertained an idea of intervening this way or that way to support one group against the other, not at all.
All those allegations leveled against Eritrea about being one of the main backers behind destabilizing this region, destabilizing the Horn of Africa. Is that not true?
Who is destabilizing the Horn of Africa? Who has been supporting warlords in Somalia for the last 20 years? Who has intervened in Somalia, invaded Somalia? Who has wanted to put governments from outside? We have 3 strategic interventions the last 8 or 10 years where people have tried to impose governments from outside. None of these governments has worked. This is destabilizing Somalia, and by destabilizing Somalia, you destabilize the region.
You are friends with both Iran and Israel. How do you balance the two?
And that is another joke, because why would the United States impose arms embargo on Eritrea, a small country with very limited resources, and not impose sanctions on the alleged role of Iran in the region? How can you possibly appreciate the logic behind this position of the United States?
Okay, maybe you can clear up for us Iran's role in this region.
There is no role for Iran in this region. Eritrea is not for sale. Eritrea is not for sale. Not for Iran, not for Israel, not for the United States, for nobody.
If Eritrea is not for sale, then how do you justify providing arms for Hamas? And how do you justify providing arms
we don't even have any diplomatic relations with any Palestinian organization.
No, but you're allowing Iran to supply arms through Hamas, through you. You also.
Where are the evidences? Do we need weapons from Iran? If we want to give it to anyone, we don't need weapons from Iran. We have enough, we have more than we need. We can arm 3-4 governments. We don't need weapons from Iran. We do not have the political will to work on behalf of anyone in this region, never.
And if it's not political will, then what is it? Because they are going through you, through Sudan.
There is no Iranian presence in this region.
But there is Iranian presence. They're helping you off a sub, and they've got a military base there. They're helping you with your oil refinery.
I would invite you to go to Assab and see. There is no refinery there. This is a joke. There is no refinery there.
Okay, then the evidence, as well as the Israeli planes that stopped arms shipment to Sudan, where they got Iranian Revolutionary Guards.
Where are the evidences? Where are the evidences? Can you prove to anyone that you have evidences to tell a story about Eritrea shipping arms to anywhere in the region?
You have a relationship with both Iran, though you say there's no Iranian presence, as well as Israel. How do you balance?
How can you?
So do you say you have no relationship with Iran?
Not at all. Do you think? How can you possibly logically understand this contradictory?
That's why I'm asking you.
Why would you ask? Why would you ask without evidences? It's a surprise to me. It's even a joke to me. I don't really see any logic of bringing Israel and Iran together working in Eritrea. How can possibly one sensible person understand that logic?
But that's probably raised the questions. Many political analysts believe that the next proxy war between Iran and Israel is going to take place on your soil? Are you prepared to be
No.
turned into the next Vietnam?
This is a joke. This is giving Eritrea beyond its means. These are fabrications. These are allegations without any facts to prove them on the ground. And it's sometimes a surprise why people want to sell these lies to any sensible person in the region. It doesn't make sense.
It's also quite, it's not quite, it's well documented that you are helping Iran through your Assab port send arms to Yemen to support the Houthi fighters who are fighting the government as well as Saudi Arabia. Can you explain your actions?
It's senseless. It's senseless. Who would want to destabilize Yemen? We have all along the last 20 years supported the government of Ali Abdullah Saleh genuinely.
So do you deny then that you are supporting the Houthis in Yemen?
This is a fantasy in the minds of those who want to sell this idea and create a sense of threat and fear in this region so that they can manipulate it for their own agendas. There is no refinery in the first place in Assad. There is no presence for anyone. You want to go yesterday or tomorrow, you can go and see who is there and who is not there. And to assume that your allegations are facts and try to find an explanation for that assumption, I say it's crazy. It's all fabrications. We sometimes bother and wonder why all these fabrications about things that do not exist on the ground.
Is this also a fabrication? The United Nations said that you spend $200,000 to $500,000 a month supporting fighters.
Where?
In Somalia and around the region. Is that also a fabrication?
This is another joke. This is another joke.
I mean, how can your country afford that? That's from the United Nations.
It's boring. It's boring. When jokes are repeated again and again, it becomes so boring.
How do you as a country continue to afford to be on this war footing now, 20 years?
This is a fantasy. This is a fantasy on those who think we are on a war footing. It's crazy. It's an imagination of people who can only be categorized as insane, who will fantasize on things that do not exist in real terms.
If your country is not on war footing, how come there's so much repression? There's no freedom of the press, there's no freedom of speech.
I can understand where you come from, and this is again another boring joke based on fabrications.
What, can anybody leave the country when they want to?
Did you enjoy the show yesterday?
Can anybody leave the country when they want to?
Did you enjoy the show yesterday?
Can anybody leave the country when they want to?
In the streets, anybody can leave this country anytime.
If they can get a passport?
What is it to get a passport from a country you deserve to be a citizen for?
What about freedom of the press, freedom of the speech? Eritrea jails more journalists than any other country in the world. Why do you have to resort to this?
These are lies.
You don't jail journalists.
These are lies. These are lies of AlJazeera International, deliberately distorting facts to give the impression that this country is in a war footing and so many things. Iran is here, Israel is here, we are supporting Houthis, we are supporting terrorists. You name it. You are using these lies to serve an agenda for destabilizing this region.
I would never do anything to attempt to destabilize the region. I'm trying to get to the bottom of the truth.
Lies without providing any evidences and trying to blame it on the United Nations sometimes when the United Nations has not said anything, blame it on the government of Sudan when Sudan has not said anything.
Okay, let's talk about the people who live in this country. If I can just quote these to you, the United Nations stats estimate that almost 63,000 Eritreans applied for asylum last year alone, and that 1,800 cross over every month into Sudan. Why are they leaving the country?
These are lies. These are your lies.
So people are not leaving the country? That's another United Nations estimate.
Give me the evidences. Give us the evidences. We would like to see evidences. According to those reports, the population of this country is out of town by yesterday, according to those statistics.
They're fleeing from the country. Of course, sort of the most high-profile one you've had, the football team which disappeared in Kenya, they're seeking asylum. Those athletes in Scotland, they're also seeking asylum. So
this is news to me. It's news to me. Really? I've never heard anything like that, and I'm not bothered if people go there, if they ask for asylum here or there, if they're looking for jobs in the United States, in Europe. Why would I bother about that?
One of the reasons that many of the people leave is because of the indefinite military service for both men and for women, and for the very harsh conditions and the fact that you can never leave. Why is there this?
This is another lie. Again, another lie. It's compromising your credibility as a media outlet and coming up with a pack of lies and trying to prove to them, to anyone, by putting them as facts on the ground and trying to give the impression that these are things that exist in the real world. Israel is here. Who is not here?
Well, Israel is here. They've got a military base.
Everybody is here. Iran is here. I mean, how can you possibly imagine people to trust and believe what you tell them when you're talking about lies that do not exist in...
Every single question I've put to you is backed up with a lot of research and a lot of facts. So with respect, Mr. President, I'm just trying to find out how your country operates, because I find it a fascinating country. So please, as a journalist...
It's a good exercise for a journalist to ask questions about a number of things, but to come up with a pack of lies, a pack of fabrications, and try to prove them by putting them as very innocent questions and trying to give credibility or trying to discredit your sources. You're discrediting the sources, you're discrediting the United Nations when you come and tell things in the name of the United Nations when the United Nations has not said anything like that. And how can a media outlet with credibility come up with these lies?
Let's talk about the drought in the Horn of Africa. Eritrea, like all the other countries, is suffering from this. And yet you are reluctant to let aid workers into your country. What is the justification for that?
When we have enough food, why do we need someone to feed us?
Because 2/3 of your population are starving.
Why do people want to spoon feed us when we have enough food?
But then how come 2/3 of the population are not getting that food?
I mean, then again, how can you possibly imagine and say, I am hungry when I'm not hungry? Why do you want to believe that? Why do you want to believe people are hungry and people are in need of your support? Why do you want to believe that? That's a very, very sad state of mind for people who think that they can come and feed people when they're not even in need of feeding. Go and feed the people of the victims of Katrina. Go and feed the people in Haiti if you really want to.
So there's no food or aid problem.
We don't need any food. We can feed ourselves. And I'm bothered. Why do you want to feed us?
How much support do you have in this country? You've been leading it for 18 years. You've been liberated for 20 years. Last year, there was an assassination attempt on your life. Where did that come from, and what do you think was behind that?
Then again, this is another lie. I mean, how can you possibly believe that there was an assassination attempt? Why would you imagine this was there? It never occurred, and it came as a surprise when I was told, I heard that. I said, these people are crazy. They are out of their mind, imagining things that do not exist and fantasizing on what they wish to see. Why do you do that?
You promised Eritreans political reform. There are no political parties other than your own.
I do not promise.
I do
not promise anyone. I do not promise anyone. It's like a very wealthy person who controls everything and promises people that is going to tip them today, tip them tomorrow, tip them next day. We never do promises. The people here don't.
You promised democracy?
No one here promises anybody anything.
You can't even...
There is nothing, there is no commodity called democracy. There is no commodity that is promised by any one person to the people of one country.
Will you allow eventually other political parties to operate? Will you allow the constitution to be released? Will you allow an open political system that is governed by the people?
By the people like in China?
No, the people who will call on government to justify.
It's again, you're assuming that you are talking on behalf of the people of this country. Let the people talk.
I'm asking you how you would define.
The people will have to define it.
Human Rights Watch says you are turning this country into a giant prison and creating a human rights crisis.
You can walk around and see for yourself if that is true. Again, it's a lie.
Why then, if people want to leave the country, do they come under the orders of shoot to kill?
Not at
How is
all.
that justified?
No. If you are telling me every day thousands are leaving this country, how do you think can that happen? If you are telling me hundreds of thousands have asked for asylum, how can you imagine these people have left this country? If you believe that.
Who do you consider your friends?
Where do you mean?
In the world?
The whole world. The whole world. Outside liars. A bunch of liars may not be my friends, but the whole world now is behind Eritrea. Everybody is asking, why all these lies? Why this sanction? Why this and that? It's an expression of the support of people. Minimum, you can imagine sensible people asking very simple questions about all the fabrications they hear every day. And that is by way of questioning the credibility of those who are telling the lies, which means it's a support for the one who is being victimized without any evidence. That's very important to remember. And those people who are asking very simple questions are behind Eritrea.
So if you can just tell me a little bit about your aspirations.
We don't need any wars. We have fought for so many decades, and we know what it means to go into war. And it's very senseless to imagine that you can waste your time and resources doing things that do not deserve any penny. We are focused on doing the right things in this country.